Dude, the story is hilarious. This story is like, it's last year, it's like 2 maps ago because it was the original Hepburn map.
It was on the original map, and it was like,
Oh, okay. So this
when
is
was
what
it?
happened. So I'm out at Hepburn and I'm digging, and we had just gotten MCMMO. So everybody was really big into their MCMMO stats. And staff was no exception at all. I was really into it. Mark was still a member at that time. So we're all dinking around one day. I ended up having to go to work or to school, one of the two. I think it was to work. And a friend of mine came over and his name is Pooch. And I was like, all right, dude, listen, I need all of this area cleared. He just wanted to get on and play. So I said, fine, if you want to play on my character, you want to play on my server, this is what you have to do. And it was a completely legit build. Not even one block on that build was spawned. So he's like, yeah. So I get back from work and well, Chris, I'll let you tell this part and then I'll segue in at the end because it's funnier than shit.
All right. Well, what had happened was I was on and I was building this giant city within a city. And of course, I had creative. And when MCMMO hadn't been installed, or when it was installed, I was in creative. And if you're in creative, you don't get any experience for mining or excavating or anything. And so I was at 0 all across the board, while everybody else was like at 400, 500 in everything. So I was like, okay, well, normally, if I had done this legit, I would have 400, 500 levels. And I was coming to a close of building it, so I figured I need some way to bring my stuff up. And lo and behold, Chip joins. And so I'm like, hey, Chip. And I'm kind of hesitant to asking her if she can just put my skills up. But then her nickname changes from Chip to Pooch. And come to find out, it's her friend, and so he and I start talking. And I continue building on my thing. And later he asks, is /drain technically legit? And the other person, I don't remember who it was, they're like, no, that's World Edit. And he's like, okay, well, crap. And I go, well, I won't tell Sarah if you'll come out and you'll spawn a giant diamond ore block for me so that I can level up my mining skill. And he goes, okay. And originally I was joking because I didn't think that he would do it anyway. And sure enough, he comes out and he's like, all right, well, where do you want me to put it? I'm like, okay, so I put 2 glowstone blocks where, in my mind, there's nothing there. So I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of small. It'll get me up a little bit. It won't be a big deal. And I'm like, well, I gotta go. Because at the time, I was a senior in high school. I'm homeschooled. So my mom is telling me, I need you to just get started on your schoolwork. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go. But if you'll just make from glowstone to glowstone into diamond ore, no big deal. And I won't say anything to Sarah. We'll go about our lives. I come back after finishing all my schoolwork and everything. I get on and I remember, oh, I got that giant diamond ore block. Let's see if he actually did it. I come on, and it's massive. And it's like directly to the left of the city that I've been building. And there's already a warp set to the building. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is great. I'll start mining it. I'll bring up my mining skill. And my full intentions were just to get to like 300, 350. And then that'll be it. And I start mining, and I'm mining, and I'm mining, and I'm mining, and I'm mining. By the time I had cleared like the first 3 layers off the top of this giant block, I had 400 levels in just mining. I was getting double drops constantly. My Giga Drill was lasting for like 10 seconds. Pooch is already gone. And then Sarah jumps on and I'm like, crap, I don't want her to see this. I can't let her see this. No, I can't let her see this. But I have to get rid of it. And so I continue mining and I'm mining as fast as I can. And somebody posted in chat, hey, Mr. Peanut Lord, I see that giant world edited block out there. And I'm like, crap, now people are starting to notice that I can't leave it here because anybody else, they warp to the city, they just walk around to the left side of the city, they see this giant massive block. So I cannot leave it here, and I'm continually mining, and that's when I'm like, I can't finish this. I can't finish this on my own. This will take me the next week to get rid of. And that's when I message Chip, I need your help.
So I get home from work and, I'm walking around looking at stuff. Things look to be fine. My friend Pooch, he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah about the game. And then he goes and he does his thing. I'm looking around Hepburn. I'm like, oh, this looks really nice. He did exactly what I asked him to do. Da, 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 da. So Chris messages me. He's like, I got a little problem. I was like, oh, shit. What could it be? And he's like, well, I need you to TP out to me. So I TP out to him. And there's this massive block of diamond ore. And it's not just, like 10 by like 10. It's like 50 by like 20. It's the biggest damn solid block of ore you've ever seen.
It was like 15 blocks deep too, from
It
top
was
to bottom. It
huge.
was it was way too big.
So I asked her, what the hell? Because at that time, Chris didn't have world edit abilities.
The only
And
reason I had creative was because I had trusted and we had just started, and John Mack knew me from the previous server that we were playing on, and so he gave me creative, but I couldn't go in and out of it freely.
nope. And Blade, at the time, he was just a regular moderator. This is a long time ago. So I get out there and they're grass. And he's got like full inventories of diamonds, right? And he's like, I don't know what to do. I've got all these diamonds. And he's throwing them into the water and they're not despawning. And he's got enough diamonds to last him until the next millennium. And then Blade gets nosy, so he TPs out. And you can just imagine Blade's face with these huge eyeballs looking at this giant diamond block. I'm like, what the hell, Chris? He's like, well, I just thought that I'd get my MCMMO skills up. He says, I've been out here for hours working on this, trying to get it to go away. But I can't mine it away fast enough. I've got other things to do. I can't stay out here and do this all day. In the background, here's Blade. I can't even tell it. It's so funny. Here's Blade in the background mining away. I was like, oh, crap. And then the market would be inundated with all of these diamonds and blah, blah, blah. So what Chris had done, apparently. But I ended up deleting it, and it was gone, and Blade was QQ. He was sad, and it was really funny. That is still, to this day, one of the funniest instances of be careful what you wish for, because the block of diamond was just massive. But to add insult to injury on top of all of it, what does Peanut go and do instead of burning the diamonds that he has? He sells them to the server shop and ends up getting like $5 million in his account. So you could run like MC Balance tops or whatever, or Balance top, and you see Peanut up at the top is like 500 million. And then Blade is right underneath him, because Blade would spawn a whole bunch of TNT and then he would sell the TNT to the server. And that's like $10,000 a block. Oh my God. We were such cheaters. We really were. It was awesome though.
The reason why I was selling them was because I was trying to get rid of them. Because originally I thought, okay, I'll keep a double chest of diamonds, no big deal. And then I was just getting so many. Because at the time I didn't realize MCMMO was giving the double drops. I just thought you got one diamond per diamond ore. And so once I got the double chest, I was like, well, crap, what do I do? Oh, you know what? I'll just sell them. That won't be a big deal. I'll just sell them, it gets rid of them, and I don't use the money anyway. And I'm getting millions upon millions of dollars from selling all these diamonds. I just start throwing them off the edge into the water, waiting for them to despawn.
Yeah, but when you're within, what is it, like 58 blocks or like 2 or 3 chunks, I mean, you have to be in that area for so long before all that stuff will despawn. But yeah, that was a good map. That was the original, very first Aaroncraft map. We had so much fun on that map. That was the map that Tim had. That was the original Battle Spire map. That was the one where Tim built the stripper club at spawn with the big purple and gold floor. He built a giant pixel art of himself. And Jeremy and I, insane 1326, we were goofing around one night, and we were just goofing around. And I think it was just him and me on the server. It was late, and we were flying around spawn. We spawned, that was the night that he and I spawned a whole bunch of chickens in Kate's house, and we were just fun griefing. So he decides that he's going to build a giant penis on the front of Tim's statue, right? So I was like, dude, you can't build a giant penis on the front of the statue. We have kids on the server. It's adult content. And this was when I was still really, really, really concerned, which I still am, but I was really concerned about it. We had like Max Cody, who was 9, and we had some other really like 9, 11-year-old players on at the time. So I was like, dude, I'm really concerned. So I put up this big black wall, like I censored it, like all the way around. Well, once I put up the black wall, Jeremy saw that as his cue. to just completely go apeshit. So he had like red warty blocks. He's like, it's got gonorrhea. It was terrible. It was awful. Tim got on. And as soon as Tim saw it, Tim rages out. He was like, why would you do this to this? Blah, 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 blah. And I had Kong at the time, and he went out to Kong and he did something out there. And I can't remember what he did, but there was a big sign out there that says, I love Chip, that Blade had built. And then he crossed that out with black wool and he's like, I love Tim. And then Blade had blocked that out and he's like, no, I don't, or something like that. God, we had so much fun on that map.
Jeremy and I one night went out to that city that Hennett was building, that giant cube.
Oh, yes.
And we were out there. We had been building, what did he name it? He named it something to do with Oblivion. I know that.
I can't remember. Oh, I know this. Dragon was out there too.
Well, no, this wasn't with Dragon. This was just Jeremy, Hennett, and I, and then there were two other people who they were working on their city. Jeremy and I actually irritated them. Jeremy and I had just gotten like moderator perms, and so we were like messing around with time and weather and lightning and spawning mobs and all kinds of stuff. And we went out to Hennett's city, and we were spawning pigmen on top of this tower, and so the tower was tall enough to when you spawned 100 pigmen onto this one tower, they all just launched off, and then when they hit the ground, they all died, which dropped the meat. And we did that over and over and over and over to the point where Hennett City was full of meat, and it started to lag him so bad. And then Jeremy and I went over, we egged his house, and we're just constantly throwing eggs, and we spawned a ton of chickens inside of his house. We had a lot of fun that night.
That city out there, when you go to the forums, you'll see in the gallery, I think it's in Other Goofery or something like that, like the big yellow FU sign, and it says Love Insane. That happened out there too at Hennett's house. It's like, fuck you, Hennett. Because him and Hennett, something had happened and he was goofing with Hennett, and I think Hennett had gotten pissed. Maybe it was that he had gotten pissed over. But he's like, fuck you. Or he wrote Love Insane. He's like, I want to make sure he knows who it's from. And then I made a glass block thing and took pictures of it. Jesus. So Pete, those were good times, man. Those were fun times. That city was just immense. It was just this giant floating block. Remember that night that you guys all made that Oblivion portal? Was it in Dragon City or was it in the middle? Oh, it was Hennett City. Yeah, you guys made that big portal and Hennett's just like, get rid of it.
Jeremy had told him he was going to build that portal to begin with because he named it off of the Oblivion City, something to the north. I don't remember what it was called, but he told him as soon as he named it that he was going to build that portal. And from the very beginning, he was just like, no, I don't want it. Don't do it. And if it weren't for Hennett, Jeremy and I probably would have done a lot worse because we did go out to the other two members and we were screwing with them a little bit. And the entire time, Hennett's just, y'all need to stop. And then Jeremy and I, oh, we could do this. No, don't do that. Don't do that at all. That's a bad idea.
Well, see, that's the funny part about, Mel and Joe, you guys just, you don't even know how mean we used to get with each other. I mean, we used to, we would world edit parts of your build away. I mean, we can undo it. Just please, Jesus, hope that we don't crash the server while we're world editing it away, because then we've got problems. But, oh my God, we used to do so much mean stuff. And that's where a lot of that spirit between some of the older staff members comes from. And that's why it's not griefing. Jordan used to call it modifying. We're not griefing, we're modifying. And this was when Jordan was still an active admin on the server. And we used to just tear through each other's stuff. And Dragon has quit twice over having his stuff with. And here's the thing. That stuff, I did that canned. And then we went out to house and messed with her house. And then here comes Dragon. And Dragon, when he came back to the server this last time, he told me, he's like, don't mess with my crap. I was like, cool, dude. No worries. Don't mess with my crap because I don't want to have to rebuild anything. And then when that ends up happening is him and Flannel and Andy end up terrorizing my sheep farm. So everybody gets it, and everybody gets it in varying degrees, about as much as we think you can handle. And sometimes we cross the line, but we really don't know where the line is until we're right there at it. So that's the stuff that I miss. I miss the pranking and all of the silliness and setting things up. Like what you did with Evanescently when you blew up her front door. That's funny stuff.
Well, I told her to watch out for pressure plates because I showed her a video by Rooster Teeth where they did that in the Xbox version of Minecraft, and she was like, "That would be so mean if somebody did that in the server." And she's such a sweet person, and so I told her, "Well, you gotta watch out because people do that all the time. You'll just be walking in the forest, and all of a sudden there's a pressure plate, and it explodes and kills you." It's like, why would people do that? That's so mean. And that's why I turned around and I did it to her. And she's just like, that's horrible, Christopher. You messed up my front of the house.
Well, I think that kind of stuff funny, and that's Malino. That's kind of stuff that you guys haven't really been exposed to a whole lot. But here recently, we've kind of gotten back into it. At least I know I have, because I went out and modified Andy's place with Canned that one night. We must have spent 3 hours out there modifying. And then I won't say who my accomplice was, but I and another staff member, wink, 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 went out to another staff member's house and turned the whole house into pumpkin, which I've done that to Dragon, and that's one of the reasons he originally quit, because it was pretty funny. And that's then he comes out and he modifies my place, and he's like, I just like your reaction. Ah, for crap's sake. So I got it, 2 weeks ago? So it's coming up on somebody else getting it here pretty soon.
We always do that kind of stuff. Like I constantly build little redstone contraptions inside your basement and stuff.
Here's the whole thing, right? So Chris keeps throwing weed at me. I've got so much. No, it was reed. I had so much reed. It wasn't even funny. I had reed coming out my ass. I had a full case of books, a full double chest of bookshelves. I had a full double chest of reed. I had a full double chest of books. I had a full double chest of paper. This was on the Aberglen map.
Well,
So
you had the big farm out there. That's why I was doing this, because I asked you, hey, can I go and collect stuff at the big farm and then turn around and sell it to you? And that's when you turn around and you were like, okay, yeah, but I don't need reed. I'm not buying reed.
So I walk into my basement one day, right? And there's some stack signs and it says to Sarah with love, or I don't even remember exactly what it was. There's a picture of it somewhere though. And it might still be on my hard drive. I walk in there. He's got the whole damn place rigged up so that when I walk on this pressure plate, like I just start showering reed from the ceiling. And I'm standing there and there's like oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles of reed coming down. And there's so much reed that it completely lags me out in the basement. And I'm like, I gotta go. And he came by and cleaned it up. But oh my God, Chris, that stuff is so funny.
I also did that to somebody. I think it was Ripley that I built like a ton of dispensers full of wheat and reed and stuff. So just pull the lever. Just pull the lever. It's okay.
Test my lag machine, please. I remember Calcium when he was over here playing with what's his toes? What was it?
Calcium irritated the crap out of me with that stupid fishing rod.
Oh yeah. He's always fishing for somebody.
He would just go around with that fishing rod and shoot it and hook people with it, but it would hit you and then the hook would stay right in front of your face. And so unless you disconnected, it would just stay there.
Well, I can't remember what I was building. I think it was when I was building Southwick is what it turned into. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I'm building towers up on columns, and here comes Calcium. Hey, Cal, how's it going? He's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Everything's going fine. Next thing I know, I'm getting knocked off these towers, and he's hitting me with that damn fishing pole because it'll knock you back a block. So you can knock somebody off of a tower if you hit him right with it. He's good with that fishing pole. I think that's funny. So yeah, so those are some aircraft stories. Aircraft stories are good stories.